They're all just models of interpreting the world. They each provide utility, and they all as valued as the rest, based on.
Valid, you stupid fuck.
Tasteless coming. Oh my god.
That was rude.
Well, that's it. That's why you need to debate him, Retro.
I don't really want to though.
No,
I
you
just
should.
don't.
You should.
I'm a peaceful guy, you know. I don't
shouldn't
like
stand
being
for that.
aggressive.
Guy's gonna wreck you.
But that's
You're afraid.
more.
Hit him back. You can
Like,
take him.
and the guy said based on utility they give us, and I really want to. And I think that's an interesting way I make up definitions puts it. You know,
I do too. Yeah.
I think we as humans we tend to hold on to certain things as a clutch to get to avoid. I mean, you'll have some
Crutch?
people who, yeah, like a crutch. When people challenge it, or just don't do it the way you like it, or don't play a certain game the way you like to play it, we tend to either get aggressive or we just don't. And I think that's just what makes us human.
Do you disagree with that, Tasteless?
I don't see where he's disagreeing.
Yo, what up, Tasteless, man?
The reality is that all these models, they provide utility to us, and they are as useful as any other model. So I guess it all depends on what you're looking for and the model you apply, but they are as valid as the second one, as any other model. So I don't know.
Like you could say, one person would like Mortal Kombat, and the other one would like some virtual fighting game more. But it would all have the same value as much as the person liked it.
Well, yes, if it's useful to them, yes, it is as valid as the other, right?
False.
What do you mean?
Are you
Wow, Tasteless, are you ready to?
Truth?
I don't know.
Are you ready to start making up definitions?
Agreed, right? Why do you disagree with that?
I'm sorry, are you asking me?
Don't do another John.
Me? I didn't say I disagreed with it. I just said it didn't follow. It's false.
Okay.
What do you mean it's false?
That your statement doesn't follow.
What do you mean it is false? Where is the false part?
That just because people use them for their own value, that they are just as valid as each other.
Of course, that's what they're for.
No, that doesn't follow.
What do you mean it doesn't follow, motherfucker?
Why do you think it follows?
It's a non sequitur, Tasteless.
So when we're talking about utility, okay, and let's say that Christianity provides meaning and helps people have hope and believe in, or find help in their lives, and they feel accompanied, and the model provides different different values to them, okay, and that is useful to them. They use that and they perceive the world based on this model in a different manner, that it is helpful to them, right? So if you choose the objective one because you feel that being materialistic and having a sense of objective truth and whatnot, and you feel good about it, that's fine. If you're talking about the world in that sense, great. Perhaps it is not useful if you use the model of Christianity to explain the material world, of the objective world or whatnot. But based on the utility the model is providing, yeah, I would say is just as valid as the other one, as a scientific one.
Wait, no, that wasn't your claim though. Your claim was that whatever people choose to understand reality better, all these methods, all the possible methods are just as valid as each other, and I don't think that's true. No, because you would say that someone having a fantasy or a mirage and they feel like that helps them to understand the universe better is as valid as the Christian Bible, for example.
What do you mean? Why not?
Or science, because valid.
But what do you mean?
No, because you don't understand the word valid.
You don't understand the concept of utility.
Why does that matter?
Utility is what matters. Why are you holding to a model, Orson? Why are you
I think
so hooked on a particular model? Why
I don't actually hold any model, Tasteless.
You hold, of course you hold. Everyone does. Everyone do.
I think
You hold to a particular model.
That's a tangent. That's a tangent.
What do you mean that's a tangent?
I don't want to go down that argument. That's a weird one.
Dude, you were saying basically
I don't want to talk about my
model.
model or lack of.
Well, you can use any model based on a particular situation.
I just want to still criticize you
even
about validity.
Two models that are contradictory with each other, based on the utility they provide you.
Right, Tasteless.
I mean, this is what we do.
Validity is it isn't just because something is useful to someone doesn't mean it's valid. Validity has to have
the validity comes if they find utility, then it is valid.
False.
The validity is determined by the utility.
You do not understand the word valid. Go and get a definition.
Oh, really? Well,
back your statement.
Explain it.
Back your understanding of. I just did.
Why would you consider valid? Tell me, and how do you reach that conclusion that it is valid or not?
It has to be substantiated.
What do you mean?
How do I really have to explain?
Validity is based on what? Upon what? What's the standard you use to apply validity? What is the standard?
The standard is more precedent of substantiation.
And what does that imply? What does it imply?
What do you mean? Well, I don't even know what you're asking now.
Dude, you're basically saying this is not valid. Now, how do you reach that conclusion?
Well, the point is that if something isn't very well grounded, then it's not valid.
Whoa, my friend. You are
even if you pull
going
utility
to lead me with the process you're following to achieve that conclusion. Okay, so you're observing it and you're saying this is not valid. Why? Because you're making a comparison, using a particular standard. You're comparing what this what I'm telling you, or what this worldview is exhibiting, and then you're comparing it to something that is supposed to be the norm. Yes or no? And since it doesn't reach that norm, you said you conclude that
because
that's valid.
That's the definition of valid.
So what do you mean it is not valid?
Because it's not the definition. You can't just say just because something has utility,
what is the
valid.
definition according to you? And explain
it has to be substantiated. I've told you.
Whoa, my friend. Do you not agree when we say that utility is the goal? Okay.
No.
Utility is the goal, and as long as it is useful,
no.
It is
said no.
No.
Is
it not substantiated, my friend?
No.
Do you know what substantiation mean? It needs to have substance, my man. Yes, that is the substance.
But utility, it doesn't hinge on utility.
Well, that's because you don't want it to harm utility. This is why I said based on the utility they give us.
That's mirrored back on you, my friend. It's because you want to use the word that you want.
That is a standard I'm using. Now,
you want to make up more definitions.
If you are disagreeing that the fucking norm is utility, then you provide me with your norm. I am using utility as a norm, but
I already did. The norm is substantiation.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean, dude?
It means backed by evidence.
What the? Holy fucking!
Well grounded.
I got a question.
I've got the definition is well grounded. I'll get it. I'll put it in chat.
Question definitions. You said.
So are you?
And we both agree on this. But you said that as humans, we tend to latch onto things and we think of them as valued, right?
So wait, hold on, Retro. Let me carry on because this is important. So something having utility doesn't mean that it is sound, correct, or well grounded.
And
Therefore, it's not valid.
No. It is not valid because you are taking truth to be the norm or the goal.
No. I'm appealing to the authority of the definition.
If you are listen. If you are using the norm as truth, let's see which one of these models is the more truthful one. Well, I would agree with you. Not all of worldviews are valid, right? Now, that is granting the meaning or of what of truthness. Now, listen, that is granting the definition of truth, which is objective. Okay, it comes from an objective, philosophical position. That's fine.
I don't agree with where that going.
Listen, if you are saying that the idea is that this worldview is the more truthful one, is the best, then yes, I would agree with you that not all worldviews are as valid as the following. However, it is not the case. Yes, that I made that claim.
No.
I said specifically based on utility. Now, if you take utility to be
You're rolling way too far with this.
If you are taking utility to be the norm, as long as your worldview is useful to you, then it is as valid as you holding any fucking worldview. As long as
that's like a weird way of defining
the norm.
No, you're just saying just because it's personally useful, therefore it's valid. That's not true at all.
Of course, this is why we do it, Orson. You might disagree.
No, it's not.
Why we hold to particular.
No, that's not what. No, the word you need to use is useful, not valid.
A great example of opinions right now.
I said useful, utilitarian. They are as valid as any other one.
No, they're not. No,
yes,
no, they're not as just valid as each other. They vary in validity. Fuck.
Holy shit! What is the norm you're using, motherfucker?
I've already told you substantiation.
No, but substantiation is not the norm, you stupid fuck.
Oh, well, calm down. Let's not throw insults at each other, right?
No, let's throw insults at each other. This is what we do here. Now, shut the fuck up. Yes,
okay.
Orson, go on. Listen, my friend. Substantiation is the process of providing with substance. If it has substance, yes, then it is substantiated. Okay.
Bit tautologist, but go on.
Well, that is the case. So you are claiming that the substance must be evidence and must appeal to truth. That is something you are defining to be, but it is not the case. I am defining the norm as utility, which is truthful, which is more reflective. Listen, it is more reflective of reality.
Why do you get to define it, Tasteless?
Okay, Orson. Let me ask you something, dude.
Why do you get to define it rather than the dictionary?
No. Let's go with you. Let's go with your fucking dumb idea, okay? Let's apply that notion.
Definition.
No. Let's apply that notion.
Let's go with the dumb idea.
Into reality, shall we?
Stupid idea. That's a stupid idea to use the word as it's defined. That's a terrible idea, but let's go with that.
No, you're not even understanding what it means, but that's fine. That's besides the point. Let's take your dumb idea and apply it to reality, shall we? If you're claiming that not all worldviews are valid, right?
No.
Okay, what that entails? Tell me what.
That's not my claim.
No. You're saying that not all worldviews are as valid, right? Yes or no?
I say they vary in validity.
No. They are valid or they are not. Either they are substantiated or they are not substantiated according to you. Yes or no? Yes or no? Answer the goddamn question, Orson. Yes or no?
Repeat the question.
No. You fucking listen what I'm saying. Okay?
Sure.
Here we go. Okay, you're basically saying that not all worldviews are as valid, right? They are not valid. Not all worldviews are valid. And you're using, substantiation. So and my question is, what would that entail?
That wasn't my claim.
And now then you say, no, but yes, they're valid, but they're not valid.
No,
are they not valid? Yes, tell me yes or no. Are they or are they not valid?
Can I speak?
Just answer the question.
Tasteless, when you present
Are they or are they not valid?
Tasteless,
all worldviews, yes or no?
Is he going to let me speak? Fucking,
just answer the question.
Listen to this.
Okay,
listen.
Just
Tasteless.
answer the question. Could you answer the question?
You
This is
are.
it's a very simple one.
I will hold on. Let me say something. Jesus
Just say
Christ.
yes or no, dude.
I'm
That's
not
all
going to
I'm asking.
continue. I'm not going to continue. if
Why
keep
are you
doing this.
evading, dude? Why are you evading?
I'm
Yes
about
or
to
no?
tell you. Do you want to
Are
stop
they
talking?
valid or are they not valid?
Right, Tasteless.
Just
I'm gonna
answer
give
the
you
question, motherfucker.
one.
La, 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 la.
If you do this one more time, I'm
Go
quitting
ahead.
the conversation.
Okay. Try to evade. Okay, go ahead.
Tasteless, you are straw manning me.
Am I?
I told
so?
you it's not my claim, and then you go and make an inference based on a claim that I do not hold.
Oh, no, I'm asking you. I'm not strawmanning you. I'm asking you to clarify your position. Are they or are they not valid? This is not a strawman. This is a question.
Some are. Some
You were
aren't.
the one contending
I said
that they were not valid because they were not
no.
substantiated.
You
Yes
were
or
telling me
no?
that I have to
Did you
answer-
do this?
you were
Yes
telling me
or
that
no,
I have to
Orson?
out of the
answer-
way.
Why is it another yes or no answer now? You were saying that I have to answer yes or no when the answer is more that they
Did
vary
you
in
do
validity.
this? Yes or no? It's very
You
simple.
were.
It's a fucking,
I
genuine.
wasn't listening to that part because you've just switched like angle now.
I am,
so what
I
are you
am
saying
asking
now?
you about the topic, dude. You said, you contested, and you objected for me saying that every other worldview is valid. And you said no.
I
Yes
objected.
or no?
Yes.
Great. So,
Wait, I objected. Yeah, cool. Let's move on.
yes, you're saying basically, if you object to that, that not all worldviews are valid. Yes?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, not necessarily.
I'm just saying that the utility isn't the.
How are you going to reach that conclusion?
I am.
Well, let me ask
objecting.
you: is Christianity a valid worldview?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
What,
You objected to it. What do you mean?
Why do I? Why do I need to clarify the words "I don't know"? Do you not know what they mean?
Why? Okay, so it might be valid, right? Yes or no?
It
If
may
you don't
be
know,
valid.
then it might be, right?
I've
Yes or
not
no?
looked into it.
But
It may be
might,
valid.
right?
Yeah, it might
Yes.
be.
Okay, objectivism. Do you think it might be valid?
It might be valid. I've not looked into it.
So you're saying basically, since you don't know, you object to it. Yes?
No.
You object to the fact that you don't know that they're valid or not.
Are you
Yes?
strawman manning me still? Are you doing a Cafe
Well, then
Newman on me
clarify
right
your
now,
position.
Tasteless?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm
Clarify your
saying that
position.
utility is not the hinging factor for validity.
Okay, so what is it?
Substantiation.
And what does that mean?
It
Do
means
expand,
based on evidence or is rationally sound.
What does substantiation mean? Expand on it.
It's based on evidence or rationally sound.
Based on evidence and rationally sound.
No, or rationally sound, and or.
Are we even talking about the same thing anymore? We're talking about
Oh, really?
substantiation.
So as long as as long as a worldview, yes, is substantiated, it is valid. Orson?
Yes.
Yes. Now, Orson, how or who determines what valid evidence is?
It's subjective.
It's subjective. So, my friend, if these worldviews are substantiated, then you would conclude they are valid, yes?
Said.
Yes.
Great. Now, if we take utility, do you think utility or taking utility as a goal is something valid to do or not? Using utility as a way to validate a particular world.
No, that's different. You just
why is it
different things?
Why is it not valid, my friend? Why is it not
just
valid?
wait?
Because it is not substantiated.
Wait, no, Tasteless. Restate your statement there because you made two different statements.
Do you think it's valid for a person to define the goal as utility in order for us to determine the validity of a worldview based on utility? It is not valid to do that.
Wait, no, I do not.
So what do you mean? That it is not substantiated?
Validity is
because irrelevant. Substantiated in order to demonstrate how that is valid according to your standard.
wait, the validity in that statement that you said earlier is kind of irrelevant there.
Why?
It
Is
has
it
no
relevant?
it has like no content
What do
pertaining
you
to the
mean?
issue at hand.
What
You
do
were saying
mean, my
validity.
friend?
Is it valid to use utility as what was it for a goal in life?
No. As the norm for us to determine the validity of a worldview.
Is it valid to use utility to determine validity?
Yes.
No.
Why? I mean, I can substantiate it.
Because
Hey, whoa. Orson, basically you're saying it is not substantiated and there's no evidence, yes, for you to determine that using, utility as a norm to determine the validity of worldviews, is non-existent. This is what you're saying, right? Now, if I'm able to substantiate my position with evidence, yes, then it would make it valid, yes or no?
it may well do. Depends on the evidence that you present.
Of course. Now, in order for us, any person, yes, decides which worldview they are going to hold on to, yes, based on different factors. A person agrees to a certain model based on their needs. Isn't that the case?
I don't know if that is the case.
Whoa. That is the case. I mean, a person
Well, that's quite a claim.
who holds to Christianity, let's say, for instance, a particular case we know, Kathleen.
No. I've got a counter person. I've got a person that goes against that. Danny. Danny's a heathen. He believes in Christianity, but it's not utilitarian for him.
Well, no, but I'm not saying that. I am saying that people hold to a particular worldview based on their needs.
No, yeah, and Danny is like his worldview is counterproductive for his needs.
No.
it's
But
not.
they choose it based on their needs. Yes or no?
No.
Oh no.
No, Danny did not choose his worldview based on his needs.
Are you sure?
We have reason to believe that Danny chose his worldview based on William Lane Craig's penis size, but
so that's Danny's needs.
Also, I would say in general,
trying
it's
to
more likely
determine what Danny's needs
I
are,
don't think.
my friend.
I don't think most theists come to the conclusion of theism due to their needs. I think it's more
they
likely
have a
through
need.
upbringing.
They have a need. All right. Many people have the
This
need
is
to
quite a
believe in
claim.
something No, this is the reality.
Okay, Tasteless. Feel free to
Now,
substantiate
another
that
person,
with some sort of evidence
listen.
or rationality.
Of course. Let's say, for instance, Kathleen. Kathleen adopted the Christian worldview because her particular need, was that she needed to hold to a worldview that she perceived to be complete, or and rationality was not providing
it's Christianity.
the right attributes.
Is it Christianity? Tasteless. Listen, is it Christianity?
What?
Is it Christianity that Kathleen holds to?
Yes.
Christianity is not complete.
According to her, this was what she. It doesn't matter if it's objective, Orson.
But then,
this process
then Christianity
is
does not fit. Christianity does not.
You're not going to determine whether something
I'm using your
fulfills your needs or not. This isn't how it works, my friend. I am giving you the process, the internal process that people go through whenever they are convinced by a particular worldview.
Would you agree with me that Kathleen was wrong to pick Christianity?
It doesn't matter if she was right or wrong. That's how she did. Now, Scarlett, for instance, have different needs. Scarlett needs to have a coherent worldview. For her, everything that makes sense, is right.
I'm glad
if
that someone
the
needs a coherent worldview
she is holding to makes sense, then she's going to hold to that worldview.
This is not profound at all, Tasteless.
If people
bad kids.
About what, dude?
Someone needs to have a coherent worldview. That's not profound at all.
Well, that is what Scarlett does. This is how people act. This is how we choose our worldviews. Now, there are other
it's not,
people
because
there's
plenty of people who do
I
not
like
do
to
that.
be objective. I like to have I feel the need to be
I
reflected
feel
on
the
things.
need. Okay.
This is how
I
people
feel the
choose their
need to be
worldviews,
objective
because they find it compelling according to their needs, my friend. Now, in
You
the
just
case
need to
of
throw in "I feel the
believers,
need" and
the-
then you just
in
back
the-
in your claim.
whoa. In the case of believers, they feel the need that something bigger than them is acting. So whenever they are presented with a worldview that satisfies
False.
that need, they tend to believe that shit. Or
False.
there are other
Now,
people who
hold on
tend
for a
to
second.
hold to that belief in a way for not a convictions, but more of a tradition. But the reality is, whenever you hold yourself to a particular worldview, it's because that worldview made sense to you in a way that it is satisfying your needs and especially your needs about understanding the world, satisfying your questions and curiosity and whatnot. And according to them, even if that is not the case also, they find the answers in this worldviews they are holding themselves to. It doesn't matter if they do actually, but if they feel it that they do, then they hold to that worldview, and that's it. They feel they have the answers they need, and they feel it is utilitarian. It is useful in that sense.
I think the best way to put it, definitions, is like
I
this.
want to say something now.
Oh.
I just
Go ahead,
can I
go
say
ahead.
something, Tasteless,
Oh.
without you interrupting? I'll take about 10 seconds. I'm gonna bow out of this argument because when I say false, you continue without letting me object.
No, object to anything I said.
But you ramble on really
Oh,
far
I'm sorry.
into the.
Go ahead.
No,
Make your
it's
objection. Make
it's
your
happened.
objection.
It's happened a bit. It's happened too much. I can't keep up.
Come on, Orson. I was just making a point. You saying false, I am not going to stop making a point. You can let me finish my point, and then you address your objection. That's fine.
Let's put it this way, okay? Let's put I want to put tasteless, which I don't know why you said I make up this definitions. Just put your name there. But anyway, I think the best way to explain what he's saying is, as humans, we tend to
I
hang
know
on
what
to
he's
things.
saying.
Yes, I guess Orson's gonna back out of this argument. If anyone else wants to join, feel free to do so. I personally
What is-
agree with them.
What is Tasteless arguing about?
I'm not sure why some people thought I was going against them, because I actually agree with their
Tasteless's
opinions.
main point of contention is Tasteless believes that utility is what determines validity of a worldview.
I said if you hold to utility, you dumb fuck.
Okay,
Well, then that's
so
just apology. It's just a
That's
stupid
just a
thing.
stupid
to
point.
Wait,
You're just saying. Then all you're saying, Tasteless, is if you hold to utility to determine whether your worldview is valid or not, then
self-validity.
then it's valid if it's utility. If it has utility, it's just fucking just a stupid
Everyone's-
thing.
Of course. So this
Everyone
is
in
what
the
I'm
chat
saying.
is
It's
going
just very
crazy.
simple.
But that's not what validity really means. So
It is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
no, it's not. Okay, well, but that was the
This is
argument.
just like
so I'm
how
done.
most
I'm moving away.
discussions with Tasteless go. It just comes down to a definition and him saying a tautology. But he actually thinks
No, my
actually thinks
claim
that
was
like he's
clear
saying
from the
something
get-go.
meaningful.
If you didn't understand it, that's your problem.
Oh, really?
But yeah, but I personally agree with him. I didn't like the way his method of arguments. Agree with him.
See, no, I was being nitpicky, Retro.
So why don't
because
you
if
say
was
it
to
again
say-
then, Tasteless? Since
If you
we're
say
misunderstanding.
they are all valuable, that would be fine. But valid.
What
is
is
the
your
word.
claim then, Tasteless? Just say it again.
Claim is simple. I'll make it as short as possible.
No, I'm not asking. I don't know why you're talking. Are you Tasteless? How would you know what Tasteless's claim is?
Claim.
Dude, I wrote it in the chat.
Can you read it to me, please?
Can we just agree that Christianity, atheism,
Just
objectivism,
read me your claim,
metaphysics?
bud. How about that?
Yes. And any other worldview. This is the claim, you stupid fuck. There are
Yeah, I'm waiting.
all just
I'm waiting for
models of interpreting the world. They each provide utility, and they are all as valid as the rest, based on the utility they give us. So I'm asking a question: can we agree on this? Because this
Let's take
is,
a look.
like you said, very axiomatic.
I do not agree.
Where is it? I don't see it here. Where is it?
About
Just
6
put
up
the
now.
name.
You put
Here
it
you
again.
go again.
In Maine.
Christianity,
Okay.
atheism, objectivism, metaphysics, and any other worldview. They are all just models of interpreting the world. They each provide utility, and they are all as valid as the rest, based on the utility they give us. What do you mean by valid?
Like I said,
Not the definition of
validity
valid.
comes. If you take the norm to
No.
utility,
Just say
then they
validity
are
is
just as
defined.
valid
Listen to
as
me.
the other one.
Listen to me. I'm not going to do this with you, Tasteless, right? This has gone on long enough, right? I'm going to sort your shit out. Define valid. Define valid, and your answer is going to be in the form of something like, I define valid as... And I want you to
Conforming to
say...
the norm.
I want you
Conforming
to say...
to the norm.
Listen to me. I want you
Conforming to the norm.
I want you to say the words, I define valid as. It's the only way I'm going to allow you to continue. I'm done with this bullshit.
I defined validness as conforming to the standard, or the standard or the norm.
Well, to be fair, I don't have any objection because you can make up the word validness. I don't have
Hold
any
on a sec.
contention with that
No,
definition.
Orson, shut the fuck up for a second. Listen, I'm cleaning up your fucking mess, okay? Look,
Okay.
I define validness as a conforming to the standard. Is that what you're saying?
Or the
That's
norm,
how the
yes.
What's the standard? What does that even?
Conforming to a standard or norm. Not the standard, but a standard or a norm.
So that just makes it vacuous again, though.
Oh,
You're just saying it conform. All you're saying is it conforms to itself.
No. The goal or the standard is arbitrary. You can choose any goal or standard in order for you to determine the validity of it. So if you're going to make a comparison, because that is what you're doing whenever you're determining validness, you are making a comparison. You're taking one norm, whatever it is, and one standard, and then you're comparing the other element to that standard in order for you to determine whether it's valid or not.
When you say it conforms to a standard, that means it conforms to its own worldview, right?
It conforms to whatever you're comparing to, you stupid fuck.
Another
If you're
worldview,
going to
idiot.
determine whether something is useful or not, then utility is the norm. And if something doesn't have utility, you would say, no, it is not valid. Doesn't
We're
have
not
utility.
even on utility right now.
You
We're
are
on
defining
validness.
the standard
We're
and
on
the
your
norm if you're going to assess that based on.
You're not going to overtalk me, Tasteless, right? Now, we're not even on utility. We're on validness and your definition of validness. So you said, I define validness as conforming to the standard, and then change it to a standard, right? I think, I don't know which one you're on now. But what is the or a standard? I don't understand what you mean by that.
Okay, dude.
Can you give me an example, maybe?
Yes, of course. If you're going to determine anything, being
No,
valid,
I said, give
listen,
me an
being
example.
valid or not.
Here's how your
listen.
answer is going to come. It's going to be, an example would be, and I want you to say the words because I'm trying to teach you to fucking communicate like a normal
Yeah,
person.
of
Go ahead.
course. Of course.
Tom must be on his.
So let's say, for instance,
No. I want you to say the fucking words so you actually understand. This is like me giving you a little fucking steam catapult on an aircraft carrier, right? I don't want you to limp dick off the fucking side of the aircraft. Okay? I want you to say the words because this is going to help set you up for success, right? I want you to say the words.
what words?
Oh my God.
Go on, finish.
An example.
An example of a standard would be, and you can pick, let's say Christianity.
What? Let's say Christianity, and that.
No, you have to say. You say Tasteless, not him. You need to say an example.
Are you
standard
this dumb,
is-
dude?
Oh, so you want me to determine a standard? Of course.
No, give an example.
Give an example, but he wants a word, right? Just a
No.
word. How
It
is
can be
that?
longer than just a word. It can
Example
be longer
of
than
what?
just
Of what?
You just
Of
have to-
valid?
of a standard.
Of a norm?
Of a standard.
Of a norm.
Of a standard.
Holy fucking shit! A standard, dude. You're going to define
Look,
it.
dude, what are you?
It's not just
Look
the words,
how
it's
dumb
the
you are.
words.
You can't even say the words, right?
Oh, so Tom is saying standard Christianity. That's a standard Christianity. What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Well, let me explain it to you. You said that Christianity is a valid worldview, and valid means that it conforms to a standard.
Utility.
What standard
That's the
does
norm.
Christianity? What standard does
Utility.
Christianity?
Utility. If it's useful, then it's valid.
I'm enjoying this.
So now validness
Now
just
let's
means
use
if it's
another
useful.
one.
Hold on a
Let's
second.
say
Hold on a second.
truthful. Let's say truthful.
We have a revision now.
Based on truthfulness, is Christianity a valid worldview? No, it's not.
Excuse me. My goodness. First, you define valid
for both of them.
as conforming to the standard. Then you changed it to a standard. Now you define valid as having utility. Because let me write this down.
I thought he said that if Christianity has utility, then
So
it's valid.
Validness is what has utility. So you're just saying that. So okay. So if we replace valid in your first claim, let's see what it sounds like. They each provide utility, and they are all providing utility. And I'm gonna repost your original claim for everyone to see it. My claim was that this is gonna boil down to something that's a tautology, right? So if you look at the last sentence, what he says is they each provide utility and they are all as valid as the rest. But he defines valid as having utility. So let's just replace the word valid here, and I'll read it for you again. They each provide utility and they are all providing utility. That's what Tasteless's claim reduces
Thank you,
to.
Tillman.
And I rest my case. Tasteless, you're a fucking idiot.
Oh man, Tomer. It must
So
be the time of
basically,
the month
Tomer
for you.
was just mixing shit up. He asked me for a standard. He asked me for a standard, any standard, and I said utility. And now he's claiming that I defined validity to be a utility. That
Yes,
is
because
wrong.
you did. If
No,
you
no,
followed the
no,
conversation,
no, no, no,
you
no,
did.
no, no.
You did.
This is very simple. Whenever you're talking about validity, you have to use a standard. Now, that standard is variable. You can choose
No, it's utility.
You can choose truthness. You can choose whatever you want
Choose
in order
utility.
for you to determine what something is
Choose-
valid or not.
Why don't you choose?
This
choose
is how you
utility,
determine
please?
validity in any case.
Right.
So
Well,
for-
that's even worse.
For you to determine
Worse.
validity,
Excuse me. So you can determine validity by any standard. So now Tasteless's claim is reduced to it's impossible for something to not be valid. That's even dumber. That's really stupid.
Oh, well.
something is going to be as valid as the standard.
Oh my god. So let me explain it to you. So it's impossible. You can pick any standard to determine a validity, right? So you could use a standard of non-validity to determine validity, right? You could determine if it's has utility or not utility. Anything that you are analyzing to see if it's valid, you could use any fucking standard you want, which means that everything is going to be valid. And that's why Tasteless is a fucking idiot.
So according to you, Tomer, let me explore your what you're saying. So basically, you're saying that validity is just one concept that it is defined for everything. So what is that? A norm that you're applying something to for it to be valid.
It could be anything. You said it could be anything.
No. You're talking. You're contesting.
I don't hold a two-parted review of validity.
Whoa. Then what is validity, Tomer?
So in summary, what
How do you
Tasteless is
determine
trying-
something to be
Hold
valid?
on. In summary, what Tasteless is trying to say is, if you set the criteria for something to be valid, and this thing passes those criteria, then it is valid. I mean, it just seems kind
Yeah,
of
it's just mental retardation.
No, that is what it is. I mean, if you disagree, then you better explain how is it that you determine
gosh.
validity, Tomer?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
don't
Put it in
you-
chat, by the way. I'll put the
Well, it
definition
depends
in chat.
on the context you're talking
No,
about. right?
that depends on anything. Tell
Like
me,
if-
how is it that you determine validity?
Getting old. I'm bored.
What?
Yeah,
How
this
is
stuff
it,
is
Tomer,
so
that you
gay
determine
and
validity?
boring.
How is it that
I don't
you
even
determine
use
validity?
I don't even use your
No, it
definition.
doesn't matter. How do you determine validity? You're contesting.
Well, how would you?
Uh,
How would you?
determine.
What do you mean it doesn't
How
matter?
do you
Talk
determine
about
something to be valid?
niggers
I
and
don't use
Jews
your
now.
definition of validity. So what would you?
Doesn't
What do you mean?
matter.
How do
So
I
you
use
cannot.
your
Okay,
definition?
Tomer, let everyone know. Tomer is unable. He never determines validity of anything because he's so dumb that he doesn't know how to do that.
That's
But yet
What?
he's contending the process in which this is achieved because he is basically so ignorant that he doesn't understand a goddamn thing.
Can we just talk
that's
about Jews?
that's
and
ad
niggers
hominem
now?
coincidental.
Oh dang!
No, that
Joshua
is a
just gave me
conclusion.
YouTube of all the
I mean, are you
arguments.
talking about the validity of worldview? So if a worldview
Anything, the
had,
word valid. We're talking about the term and the concept of validity. How do you determine something to be valid or not?
well, I don't know exactly what context you're talking about. But in the term in the case with worldviews, I would say that a worldview is invalid if it has contradictions.
Invalid if it has cost. Okay, if they are not, they are valid. Then validity to you is determined by contradictions. This is what I'm saying. You stupid
No,
fucking moron.
There's
Oh,
You
more
are
criteria.
determining contradictions
he's
as the
right.
standard
Tom,
for you to determine whether a worldview is valid or not. You
no, that's
stupid
just one. That's
Oh,
just one
shit.
determining factor.
I don't even
knows
understand what he said. I don't even understand what he said.
Let me just
If you go-
restart.
So-
You guys are getting caught up in the
the
word valid.
standard of non-contradiction to be the standard you're going to use to assess worldviews in order for you to determine they are valid or not.
You guys are going to waste 45 minutes on
Right,
the word
let-
So
Tasteless,
okay,
let me
yeah,
ask
you
Tomer.
can't just keep saying
And
this.
that is
over and
correct.
over.
You can do
No.
that, Tom. You
Let
can
me-
do that. You are
let me
allowed
ask
to do
Tom.
that because that's how validity is achieved. It is not something you want. That is how it is achieved. If you set a standard, that you use that standard, you use that goal to determine whether something complies to it or not.
This is so dumb.
You are so dumb that you don't even follow. You know what I'm saying?
You're
And
so
were
dumb, you're a
contesting-
How are you guys
non-sequitur.
get along exactly?
Is there a way you could reiterate your claim in a less sporadic and incoherent way, Tasteless?
No, I'm sorry. Sam was actually 100% correct. It is a criteria you use for something to know that if it reached that criteria, then it becomes valid. That is all there is to it. Now, the criteria is variable. Yes, and you're going to choose that criteria to determine whether something is valid or not. It is not something universal. You know,
But it's not
validity is
utility.
not something universal.
Utility
that you
is
can-
not validity.
You can say this is valid and this is not in virtue of this universal thing. It is. That's not how it works.
I could
God.
give a definition
Okay.
of validity.
Before you guys continue on, Joshua just gave me this his YouTube channel, and there were so many videos about Tasteless that you might as well just become popular.
Okay, sure.
Jesus
I mean, like,
Christ,
what does that have
Tasteless.
to do with anything?
I'm
Because his validity is based on the amount of times he's been on YouTube.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep going. I just want to put that out.
Tom, would you disagree that validity means something being substantiated as in pertaining to reality and is rational?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Tasteless, would you disagree with that?
Yes, I would disagree because whenever you're using the word valid, and if you're saying that anything needs to conform to that, then you're wrong. In order for it to be valid, you are setting the standard, and that's fine. You're allowed to do that. You can choose that standard to determine something to be valid or not. And you
Basically,
can use any standard. For you to determine that. What matters is what you are measuring against. In this case, we're talking about utility, and if utility is the primordial or the more important thing that you're addressing, then you will determine something to be valid or not in that criteria, not your criteria or
No,
a universal criteria, because there is not such
Yeah, this sounds like circular reasoning to me.
this is really, really stupid stuff Tasteless is saying right now. Really dumb.
Tasteless, how do you determine validity? Can you reiterate that one more time for me to see if I can actually follow?
No. Okay, Crafty, it is very simple. We're talking about the concept of validness. Okay, what is
Yeah,
something
you
to be
don't.
valid?
Yeah, I know you're talking about
Now-
the concept. How do you determine validity, Tasteless? That's all I need. Maybe like in
No,
one
no.
sentence.
validness.
No, validness, dude. I mean, it is something very, very.
Okay, you
Holy
can't just say
shit.
validness.
Listen, dude. Listen. Valid. It just means it conforms to the criteria. That's it. That's valid.
False.
Okay, what criteria would you be using to make it
Now,
valid?
if the
Like,
criteria
or-
is that, you know, what Orson is saying, but yes, that is the criteria. That's it. Now, the criteria is variable according to whatever
Wait,
it is you're measuring.
According to
according to who?
To whatever criteria you're using to determine that.
Fuck.
You're measuring.
No,
Now,
according to
listen,
who?
listen,
did you
listen.
say? No,
Yes.
shh.
Okay,
According to
Crafty,
who
let me
did you
ask you something.
say?
No,
No.
let me ask you
Now,
something.
answer my question.
This is going to be very clarifying, dude. If I say
Answer my
guns are
question,
valid,
dude.
shut. If I say, Crafty,
No.
carrying a gun is valid, would you
Sure.
take that? Would you take that as such and say, oh yeah, of course, everyone knows
No. I
carrying
would
guns
say,
is
what
valid.
the fuck do you mean by carrying a gun is valid? What,
Exactly.
What the fuck
That's an
does it
incoherent
mean,
You would
sentence.
need
Tasteless?
something.
That's an
to compare it.
incoherent statement.
Valid to what? Valid to what particular stance? You
No.
would need the goal.
What do
in
you
order for
mean
to
by
determine
validity?
Whether carrying guns it is valid or not.
Valid to what is also incoherent.
Exactly. You need
That's
a goal.
inco-
In order for
It's
you
an
to determine
incoherent-
validity,
Yo,
you cannot just say
tasteless,
something
tasteless,
is valid. In
Tasteless,
terms of
shut
what,
up.
motherfucker?
Valid
In
to
terms of what
utility
it
is
is
also
valid.
incoherent.
This is what you
No.
do. I mean, you guys
Okay.
are very,
So,
very fucking stupid.
Validity in what context, Tasteless?
Exactly. The context is what matters. The context is going to
utility is
determine
what
the
matters.
standard, dude.
Validity.
The context is going to determine the standards upon which you'll be fucking measuring, you know, if what you're conceiving actually meets that criteria, dude. That is why you need the concept.
Tasteless. Please,
The
I
concept
like
is
you.
not
I don't
universal.
I
The
don't need to
concept
be gish galloped.
varies.
I just want you to explain your fucking viewpoint to me so I can
just
make sense of it.
Man. I did, man.
It's
It's very simple. Perhaps
Yeah,
you don't
but
understand or you're not
worldviews-
familiar with this, but this is very
worldviews-
simple. This is not controversial. I mean, people contesting
worldviews
this are
aren't-
just fucking idiots.
Shut the fuck up, man.
Okay.
Worldviews aren't prescriptions, right? They're just like a set. It's like a framework of different ideas and concepts, or whatever the fuck, I don't know how to say it. But when you're talking about it has to conform to like a goal, you're just basically talking about prescriptions. That's all you're doing.
It doesn't have to conform to a goal, but yeah.
So you're just saying, is this ought valid? And that question is only answerable by knowing what the hypothetical
Utilities?
norm is, right? Or the yeah.
The
But when we're
utility.
talking
You said-
about, does this framework of ideas, is this valid, right? That's just a totally different question. You're just too stupid to fucking understand what you're talking about.
Look, guys, we've been talking about this for about a
I
good
was
hour.
correct, and I am correct about this. And you now figure it out, Summer.
In your
You
belief,
now
in your
figure it
world,
out, and you're
yes,
so
you are
dishonest
correct, I guess.
that you are not fucking even.
Look, at the very beginning, I
recognize
said what you're saying is a tautology, right? That's
Of
not
course
even,
not.
It's
You
impossible.
contested me saying that there's a norm within the the validity concept. So
At best,
yes, there is. You cannot
best,
determine
Tasteless,
something to be
you can use
valid
this
if
as
you
a
don't have a
subjective
norm.
claim. At best, you
Tasteless
can
is-
use this as a subjective claim. You can't just make an objective claim like this and not back it up. Just use circular reasoning to.
I am sorry, Crafty, I
yourself
did,
over
but
and
you're
over back it up.
misunderstanding
No,
as
you did
usual.
not.
Tasteless
Yes, I
is
did.
correct as he finds utility in being correct. Therefore, he is valid that he is correct.
Yeah,
I'm
circular
sorry.
reasoning.
I'm sorry. Even if you don't like it, Orson, the norm is variable. It is not universal. It is something variable. You cannot. You're saying that it is universal. Then, since the universal, standard is conforming to reality or whatnot, this is why you're
False.
wrong. You
I'm
cannot
not
say
saying it's
something to be
universal.
valid without knowing the goal, the norm, or the context. In
I did
what
not say
you're
it was
using.
Okay, let me just ask.
You can-
Let
you
me
cannot
just ask
say-
Tasteless a question. I'm sure he'll respond in a way.
Can I just clear up that I said it?
Hold on,
I didn't say it was universal.
I'm
it's
sure.
just
I'm
not
sure
defined.
Tasteless
This
has
is
got.
what
It's defined.
you
Excuse
didn't
me.
say
Stop
that
talking.
it is
Stop
implied.
talking, please. Excuse me. I know Tasteless has got a consistent worldview, so he's going to answer correctly. So Tasteless, I present you with a worldview X, right? And I say, Tasteless, I need you to tell me if this worldview is valid, right?
Of
So
course.
what's the question you need to ask me?
Well, it depends, right? I would ask you, hey man, does that worldview, is useful to you in some sense?
No. I thought you need to ask me for the standard.
This is what I'm determining utility. To
Wait,
me,
hold on a
utility
second.
is the
But-
primary
no,
goal.
why-
To me, that's a personal goal. If you hold to anything you hold, if it's useful to you, I would say, oh, that's fine, man. That's valid. That's great. You can hold that.
Okay.
Now, this is why, or the way I see.
I'm giving you my framework, right? I want to give you my.
You're saying I have a worldview.
Listen. I'm going to give you my framework, right? And when I give you the concept and the standard, you're going to be able to tell me whether or not it's valid, right?
I already asked. I
yes
already told you
or no.
Yes, Tomer.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the worldview or the idea, and then I'm going to give you the standard, and then I want you to tell me under my framework, my standard, whether it is valid. Okay, are you ready?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I'm going to give you idea X, and my standard is that it has no utility, right? And I show you how it has no utility. Is my idea valid?
Not again, really?
We're getting ready, boys.
Over.
What the
Continue your
fuck, dude?
conversation. It was taken care of.
All right, hey,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Tomer.
I already asked you the question. Do you need me to repeat it?
Oh, yes. In terms of whatever you're defining, you say this is why it's valid. I would say, well, yeah. If it meets that criteria, then I would say, yeah, you are setting that standard. Now,
What do you
for
mean
me,
if it's valid?
listen. For me,
listen,
Tomer.
Your answer is going to come in this form. It is valid, or you're going to say it is not valid. Do you understand?
It is valid for you. I will say that. It is not valid for me. I would say that. Based on the fact and the notion that my primordial norm is utility.
So everybody's subjective worldview is valid no matter what because it holds
Something
utility.
is going
for
to
them.
be as valid as as the criteria defines it to be. It's that
False.
simple. Valid
False.
in order to you're always going to ask valid for what? You will never listen.
How did you formulate this?
You will never
this theory?
use or
How
take
did you
valid
formulate
as
this
such
theory?
because it is not universal. That is as simple as that.
So
Now, if somebody say, "Hey man,
meaningless.
I wanted to kill a dog and then I used a gun," is that valid? And then you will use and say, "Well, valid."
Since when were we talking about killing dogs? I thought we were talking about worldviews.
It is the same thing.
No,
it is any fucking example, Crafty.
His worldview is going to be Danny's
If
effect.
Tomer is defining, the goal of its worldview, and if that worldview meets that criteria, therefore it is valid. Yes, of course, that is how it's done. You cannot say or determine stuff. But if you change the goal, listen, Crafty, shut the fuck up. If you change the goal and you say, yes, that is valid for that goal, but it is invalid for this goal. And that is also acceptable. So whenever you say, if utility is the goal, then yes, they all provide utility. Great. If it doesn't provide utility, and we say no, it is not valid because it is not useful. It is not valid.
What validity means.
So it is not a universal trait that you can say it is valid in virtue of this universal trait. No, it's wrong. That is wrong. Whenever you say it is valid, any person would ask for what? It is valid for what?
Your
point
definitions
you need the norm. You need
point-
a standard to determine to make that call.
Your point about validity is invalid.
Yes, Crafty.
True.
Very crafty.
You are incoherent and illogical, therefore your point is invalid. Please stop talking.
Good. No.
You think that if I ask someone, most people, is this worldview valid? They're gonna say like
validity.
What's your standard?
They will ask always
Validity
for what?
has nothing to do with utility.
Or they will use their personal standard to determine that.
Tasteless. Validity has nothing to do with utility.
Another tautology.
Crafty, this isn't even the subject, dude. You're just getting in the way of something you don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Sure.
Yes,
okay,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
I'll
just
shut up.
You guys have been talking about validity for the last hour and a half. Like, just change the subject.
He's just so dumb. I mean, like what he's saying usually.
I mean,
what he's
Tomer is
saying-
just so dumb. He doesn't understand that I was correct whenever I said that validity is conforming to a norm or a standard.
Tasteless, I think you're the only one in here who actually thinks you're
Tomer
right.
contested that because he's an idiot.
I think
The only thing validity is the definition of valid is having a sound basis in logic or fact.
Right, that's the typical standard. If you want to make the standard like whether or
That's the
not
standard.
it ends with a BLT or something like that, that's just retardation.
Yes, validity is always going to conform to a norm. You would need the norm to determine validity or not. That's reality. If you don't want to see it, that's fine, Orson. If your position is that there's some universal thing that is going to determine something to be valid or not, you're wrong.
Yeah, it's called validity.
You can't be wrong.
You better demonstrate that. If I say something like let's say for instance yes, killing dogs is valid.
That's incoherent.
Why? What is incoherent about it? Can you show me the incoherency, please?
I struggle to find the coherency.
What do you mean? What is not clear? Killing dogs is valid. What do you need to know? I mean, you already know what validness is and how it is determined. Why can't you fucking make that call, man? Why is it
killing dogs is valid in the worldview, therefore it has utility?
Shut the fuck up, Crafty. No, shut the fuck up. Yes, Orson.
If you wrote that into Word, it would have a green line underneath it.
Killing dogs is valid. Why is that incoherent?
Because it's mixing up like the wrong sort of verbs, adjectives, and nouns and stuff. It doesn't make any sense.
In virtue of what? In virtue of what is it wrong? What do you mean? I mean, killing dogs is valid. How is that?
In virtue of the fact it doesn't portray content.
Oh, it doesn't. You don't know what it means.
That's right. It doesn't mean anything.
I'm sorry, man. I am saying killing dogs is valid. You said that valid is what? Repeat again.
Substantiated and all rational.
Is killing dogs not substantiated or rational?
I don't know.
Oh, really?
That doesn't make sense.
Now, Orson, let me ask you something.
Is killing dogs substantiated?
If I say, hey, man.
No. Answer your own question. Is killing...
In order for us to survive,
Tasteless.
And to be able to eat.
No. That makes sense. That sort of stuff makes sense. But
now
it makes
question.
Sense.
Why?
Yeah,
because it has a fucking criteria. You stupid
criteria and
fuck.
qualifications.
It has a criteria that you can measure against and say, you can make that call now.
This is
because
boring.
it has a criteria.
Yeah, it's just more everything with tasteless reduces to some stupid like semantic shit definition.
Oh, but you can test that because you don't understand it. And then when you're proven to be something as fucking true and axiomatically true as this, then you say, oh, he's so dumb.
Right,
he's just making real axiomatic claims. But you contested those.
You said that there can't be a universal standard, but the universal standard is that you have to have a standard. So you just defeated your own argument.
Oh no, I never said that. It did not. I never even in the definition. I already told you you need a norm or you need a standard.
He gish gallops so much. Let me taste this. I need to ask you a question. Did
I not provide it with that fucking part? On the definition of validness, yes or no?
Tasteless gets like 3 or 4 questions and points in.
The fuck up. Yes or no?
One of someone else's.
Yes or no, Tomer? Yes or no?
Did you what?
What? Did I said in my definition that you needed a norm or a standard for you to determine whether something is valid or not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And you contested that, didn't you?
I said that the idea is vacuous, right? Because then anything can be valid.
Oh, you said it was vacuous, huh?
Yeah.
And is it vacuous? And is it vacuous, Tomer?
Yeah, because then everything is valid and invalid.
Is it real or is it vacuous?
Is it real or vacuous? What do you mean? What are you talking about,
It's
dude?
abstract.
Is it correct or is it
No.
vacuous?
It's vacuous.
Oh, really? What do you mean by vacuous?
Well, it would be correct and incorrect at the same time, right?
It lacks
Depending on
Oh,
what-
content.
really? That is okay. So vacuous is meaning it is correct and incorrect
No,
at the
I
same
didn't. I
time.
didn't. I
So
didn't
it is
say
contradictory.
That was
Oh,
was
okay.
in
What is
that was in
vacuous? What is
response to your
vacuous
other
mean?
question. But
What does vacuous mean, Tomer? You're used to this word. Could you explain?
does vacuous mean?
Yes, yes.
Well, in this context, it just basically means that what you're saying is a tautology, and it's not informative, really.
Oh,
just almost-
to
it
say that
It has almost
validity
no use.
meets a norm.
I'm answering your
is
question,
is a
dude. You wanna-
tautology? Is a
Vacuous.
tautology, Tomer?
Vacuous means it lacks content, like a vacuum lacks atoms.
Oh, and does it lack content?
Yeah, pretty much.
Really?
Yes, it does lack content.
Does it lack content?
Yes. Go on, give some content. Stop going.
Eating food on every time something takes a bite of food and alone.
So it was vacuous then.
I don't think people should be allowed to keep
Tasteless. Let me
repeatedly
draw.
using an incorrect definition of a word like this.
Let me draw a quick comparison for you. So I think the objection that's being raised here is when you're saying killing dogs is valid. It's like a category error. It's like if you were to form a sentence and the sentence was something like, "Does the color blue?" and that's the sentence, and then you're expected to give
No, of
some
course,
kind of answer to the.
of course, Big Chum. What we're trying to reach here is the necessity of a standard or a norm in order for us to determine that that is valid or not.
No.
This is what we're trying to do, and this is what why Orson couldn't determine. But Orson is saying that validity
Straw man
is
incoming.
determined by its own
No.
definition. Something is going to be
No, false. Do you mean the definition of
Oh.
validity, not by its own definition, by the
Oh.
definition of validity, which is substance or pertaining to reality and rationality? That's
for
what is
something to
validity.
be valid according to him. He has to be what?
It has to have substance, as in it has to pertain to reality, and or it has to be rational.
Okay, so if it's rational and if it's substantiated with reality, then it is valid according to you,
So
right?
it could be substantiated.
This
with,
is the standard you're using to determine something to be valid, yes or no?
that is the standard of determining validity. Yeah.
Okay, so since now we know that, saying killing dogs, does that meet the criteria of your, what you need to determine validity or not?
It doesn't make sense.
What do you mean it
Just
doesn't make sense?
Big Time explained why it doesn't make sense. You need to say something like killing dogs in order to survive is valid. Even though that probably doesn't make fully sense anyway, but that sentence means nothing when you say killing dogs is valid. That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense because you don't have the norm to measure against with. Now, if you say for our existence, yes, killing dogs is valid. Now,
That's
it makes sense
I
because
don't
you
think
have a
that
norm.
makes sense
Listen,
either.
you have a norm, and then you see if killing dogs, achieves that standard for you to determine that is valid or not. Okay, and that is as simple as that. You need a norm. You need something to compare it against. In the case that I was talking about worldviews, determine the validity of worldviews, I was using utility as the primary standard, the norm, for you to measure whether a worldview meets that criteria, for you to determine whether it's valid or not. Now, this
utility is not a criteria. Utility is not a
why isn't that a criteria? Because you don't like it.
because
That's it.
it's not because utility is not evidence or rationale.
But you are putting the norms there that it needs to comply to.
I'm putting the norm.
According
Yes.
to you.
No, according to the dictionary.
According to you.
According to the dictionary.
So, okay, so you're saying that no, that is not the case. Then how is it that Christianity, you would say, I'm asking you, determine whether that is valid or not?
I'm just going to appeal to the room right now. Why are we still
Is
doing
it valid
this?
or not, according to your own
I have
standards?
to stop
man?
listening.
I am sorry.
I
man.
don't think
You don't
anyone's on your
understand
side here.
this are very
Tasteless.
well. This is what I can gather, and that's fine. If you want to say that they are not as valid,
Wait,
and utility is not even the important part of worldviews.
if
This is
I'm just going to appeal to the room and say, if anyone wants to back up Tasteless's argument, I will argue with them. But until then, I'm
Oh,
done with
hell
this one.
no.
I don't understand what he's talking about.
If anyone thinks Tasteless makes sense, a lot more sense to argue with them than Tasteless.
Yeah, if Juker's ever in the room, get him to translate, right? He'll tell you what he thinks he's saying, and no matter what Juker's saying, Tasteless will agree with it anyway. So just do that. Cut the middleman out.
so. Like I said, Tomer contestant.
Yo, what's with the little
wrong.
snake thing? What's with the
Wrong.
snake and the change of name? What's going on there, buddy? That snake. What is
I
that?
am
Cobra Kai or
I am
something?
transforming.
Well, what's the snake reference to?
Oh, it's the Cobra Kai snake.
Oh, fuck.
What?
Come on, man. Come on, don't do that.
Hey, suck my dick.
But Ray, it's valid.
Tasteless. What's the Cobra Kai motto? Tasteless. Wake up. What's the motto of Cobra Kai?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, take that image off until you know what it is.
Why? No mercy, right?
Sorry to interrupt you.
No pain,
Tasteless.
no gain?
Oh my god.
Come on, buddy.
I already told you, no mercy.
Guys, I know you're all busy, but who muted me? Because someone just muted me for no reason.
Oh,
Well,
they don't
you
want
have
to support my
you
claim.
have a retro. You keep interrupting and bringing up things that are irrelevant.
Now, Retro, let me tell you what's going on. Don't fucking
You mean
be
non
in
sequitur?
favor of it. You will get the fucking boot. So you need to be against me for these guys to be happy.
Retro wasn't supporting your argument of validity. He was just appreciating your comment about worldviews are nice if they have utility. I'll agree with that with you. I'm happy for that. I'll concede that nice.
I understand that if I wasn't really contributing much, but someone could have warned me about it.
You need to bow to your sensei.
I love bowing to people.
Consider the mooting a warning.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah, Retro, you need to make sure you don't interrupt and bring up things that aren't relevant to the conversation.
Okay.